Hello, I'm Reverend Dr. Jeffrey Goodine, pastor of Church on Wheels Spoken Word out of Orange City, Florida. And this is another edition of Easter week presentation. This is day 4. Day 4 of the presentation. Now, day 4 is a day of rest, and they call it a day of rest. Here Jesus is resting on this day, and only 3 of the Gospels carry this. Matthew chapter 26 verses 6 through 16, Mark chapter 14 verses 3 to 11, and Luke chapter 22 verses 3 to 6. So this is the Wednesday before Easter, and this is, we call it Jesus' Anointing Day. He's in Bethany and he's reclining and he's taking it easy. And this is a very familiar story in the Bible. Jesus' anointing for his burial. And today I'll be reading the Mark chapter 14, and I'll start at verse 1 today. Jesus is anointed at Bethany, and I'm reading from the NIV today. Now the Passover and the festival of unleavened bread were only 2 days away, and the chief priests and the teachers of the law were scheming to arrest Jesus secretly and kill him. But not during the festival, they said, or the people may riot. While he was in Bethany, reclining at the table in the home of Simon the leper, a woman came with an alabaster jar of very expensive perfume made of pure nard. She broke the jar and poured the perfume over his head. Some of those present were saying indignantly to one another, "Why this waste of perfume? It could have been sold for more than a year's wages and the money given to the poor." And they rebuked her harshly. "Leave her alone," Jesus says. "Why are you bothering her? She has done a beautiful thing to me. The poor you will always have with you, and you can help them anytime you want, but you will not always have me. She did what she could. She poured perfume on my body beforehand to prepare for my burial. Truly I tell you, wherever the gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her." And this is the day of rest. Jesus is resting at the house of Simon the leper. And if you know about Simon the leper, really no one wanted to be around him because he had leprosy. But Jesus healed him. And Jesus was not afraid to be around him. So Jesus was at his house, reclining, having a good time, I guess, if we want to call it, as we say in our time, chilling, I guess, at Simon the leper's house. And this woman came and poured some perfume on him. And the disciples with Jesus were mad at her because they said, "Wait a minute, why did you waste this? This could have been sold for a year's wages." And Jesus told them, leave her alone. She did something for me that you could not do, which is she anointed me for my burial. And this is another example in the Bible where Jesus was preparing for his death according to the prophecy. It was already prophesied. So Jesus was on his way to his death. And usually what happens in that time is that they anoint the bodies for perfume and things on the bodies before, and a lot of times after they die, not very shortly after they die, that they go and they put perfume in there on them. And that was to kill the stench of the body. But here Jesus is being anointed for his burial. And Wednesday is a day of rest for Jesus. He does not go to Jerusalem. He is not in the temple. He is resting at Simon the leper's house. So Wednesday is a day of rest. And Jesus told him that you will always have the poor with you. Now, in some gospels they say that Jesus Judas had already sold him out. Well, Judas had already sold him out, so it was already there. So all of this kind of happened on the same day while Jesus is resting. See, a lot of times while you're resting, there are people are plotting against you. But Jesus already knew what was going to happen. Jesus already knew. And what they're doing to Jesus is just fulfilling the prophecy. So on Wednesday, day 4 of Easter week, Jesus is resting at the home of Simon the leper. And the woman comes and pours a bottle of expensive perfume on his head. And he said it was an anointing for his burial. And Jesus said that wherever the gospel is preached, it will be preached. Her name, he says, wherever the gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her. Not in memory of Jesus, but in memory of her, the woman that anointed Jesus for his burial. That is Wednesday, day 4 of Easter week. Well, I'm Reverend Dr. Jeffrey Goodine, pastor of Church on Wheels Spoken Word out of Orange City, Florida. And this has been another edition of Easter Week Presentation 2022, Day 4, Wednesday, a day of rest. May God have mercy on our souls.